Tell your friends. Tell your friends about Hooks and Ladders, but also about songstudio.ca. You can get all kinds of information about songwriting, tips, and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, like, follow, and subscribe. That's what we need. That's what you need.
Here's another peek at what we did at SongStudio Online last August. Hope you enjoy.
Where does that standard come from? Like the good enough? Like what, because you're not writing for the marketplace. You know, you're not trying to write hits, and yet you do enjoy having a following of people who love what you do, right? So where does that standard come from?
I don't know. I guess just experience and age and listening to more music. I think age, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, like with the decision, like as to what constitutes good enough, it's not you're not thinking, oh yeah, well, so-and-so who loves my songs, she'd never put up with this, she'd never, you're not thinking of the audience either specifically or generally.
No, I mean, I would be struggling this if I lived on a desert island and no one would ever hear the song.
Right.
Yeah.
It's personal.
Yeah. Like I want it, like it has to feel right to me. And the song that I've been chasing around hunting for like a month, I got it. I pinned it down, and I think I got it now. And yeah, it's like I said, it's every time is different. Every song is different,
Right. Yeah.
I have a bunch of songs on the go, and I'm finding lyrically is the hardest thing for me now, because I just I want the message and what I'm singing about is the hardest part now. Music's easier.
Right. Do you like a typical starting place? And I know there's a million ways to start a song and to write a song, but a typical starting place, would it be with the message, what I want to say, or a phrase that encapsulates that? Right.
I do a lot where I write the title of the song first.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I like when I hear a line, like I have a song called Ghost Town, and I just like, oh, that's a cool word, ghost town, the idea of a ghost town. And then it's like, okay. And then I'm like, you're like a movie maker. And I'm like, what's the plot? I need to know the plot. How does it start? What's the point? And then the middle kind of can take care of itself, I feel like. But when you have like a target of like, what am I singing about? And what's the message, and how am I going to connect with the listener?
Yeah. That's that I relate to that big time. For me, that's also what I do most of the time. Of course, I've written music beds, like I've written chord changes and so forth, and then come up with a melody and then come up with words. But I find that really hard.
Yeah, I mean, I would sit down with a guitar and a piece of paper and go, what is the message? Like, what do I want? Like, is this a happy song? Is this like an inspiring song? Is this like or is this a love song? Is it a sad song? Whatever it is, like, what is the point here? I can't just like write a lyric and go, okay, I wonder what lyrics next. You sometimes you come up with a neat line and then that starts. But yeah, I need the big picture first.
First time I co-wrote with anybody was with Eddie Schwartz, who wrote "Hit Me with Your Best Shot," among others.
Awesome.
And it was intimidating, but it was also sort of inspiring because he had lots of nice furniture in his house, and I thought, oh, I want nice furniture too, and like seriously, but I gave him a list of titles, like I used to type them out with a typewriter, and it would look like this roughly, and I'd have a list of titles. And he looked at it, and Eddie's a funny guy. We're friends. He's a funny guy, and he in both funny, ha ha, and also odd senses. And he said, Blair, I don't know if this is so much a list of titles as it is a cry for help.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like,
I didn't mean to laugh. I thought it'd be like,
no, but I mean, it is funny, I mean, and he did mean it to be funny. But then what he did was, and he didn't go off of any of those at all. He didn't none of the titles And he pointed out a couple. He said, well, what about this one? What does this mean to you? And I would say, well, very earnestly, that would be about a person who does this or does that. And he said, oh, okay. And what about this one? And then I tell him again. And then eventually what he did was this. He grabbed his guitar and he went, just making up a melody and chords. And I know that's what most songwriters do, but I can't relate. I'm like, that's pointless to me because it doesn't, like, as you say, it doesn't have a point to it.
It's pointless. Yeah. We can all just start playing la la la. Yeah, it's like, yeah. And, well, it's to me, that's like showing up on a film set and start rolling cameras and no one knows what they're doing yet. It's just like, it's like you can have all that equipment ready to go, but like, do we have a script?
Yeah, like where are we going with this? And I understand that the point reveals itself in songs, it can anyway. And in songs, it's a different process. It's a different process than filmmaking. I get that. And I also get that Eddie Schwartz has written Hit Me With Your Best Shot, among other hits, So I sort of feel like, well, clearly it works for lots of people, but for me, I just don't get it. So I'm really heartened. I didn't know that about you.
No, it's all about the story. I mean, everything's about the story. I mean, people ask me what I do for a living. I say, I stand on stage and yell stories at people.
It's true. Yeah, it was so great seeing you play solo, by the way, and at the Dakota, whenever that was, a month and a half ago, whatever. And so Danny played solo, his electric guitar, and you had like a pedal or two. I think you had a looper pedal, but you barely used it. You used it, I think, for one song.
I don't use it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, so Danny it's just a straight I'm singing to my guitar playing kind of thing, but then for one song, you laid down a rhythm thing, like into the looper, and you played a solo. It killed like this. I forgot what a great guitar player you are. I'm not kidding. It was just like, oh yeah, like it was so good because when people accompany themselves on guitar when they're singing, they don't have to be that good. They need to be good enough to accompany themselves. But then it was like, oh yeah, okay, yes, Danny, right, plays guitar. He's really fucking great. So, yeah, it was something else. Actually. That's
nice of you to say, but I mean, I feel like my guitar playing has gotten worse and worse over the years, and I don't care. And what I mean by that is, like, when I was in Starling, that other band, that was a pretty complicated band. It was all, and I was like practicing, and I wanted to be a good guitar player, and I wanted to like. And now I don't give a shit. That's just like a tool that brings the song. And so I just play 3-chord songs now and try to write better songs,
Yeah. And
I don't practice playing the guitar. I write songs instead.
I like that you say practice with that tone. Practice playing.
Like, what am I going to get better at playing?
What do you think I'm an idiot? I'm not going to practice. It's so good.
Talk to my band. They'll like I hate rehearsing. I won't rehearse. Like I hate rehearsing. I'm just like, we're all good players. Just learn the song and we'll play it.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. Although sometimes you see bands that do that thing where they run the song down from top to bottom. They do the whole set. They'll do like the 10-song set and they bang it off. And then we took a break. We're going to do it again. And then they bang off and maybe they're not even good players. I envy them though, because I think they get a tightness that is just like.
No. I agree. I love that too, and I admire that. I love seeing a band, and I think, ooh, they did practice. But I'll admit that part of my show and what I do with my band is kind of like there's an energy in us, kind of like flying by the seat of our pants, that I really enjoy too. So
there is a feeling, even when you play solo, maybe especially when you play solo, of anything could happen.
Yeah, because I don't know what I'm gonna do when I'm playing solo.
Yeah. Do you even write a set list? Like for that Dakota thing, did you write down a set?
I do write a set list, but I do it. But only in the last 2 or 3 years. It's like a safety net, but then I stray from it.
Right.
Like it's a blueprint that I can come back to if things aren't going well. But I'll just start mixing it up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good.
But I most of the time I stick to a set list. Yeah.
Right. When you come up with titles for songs, like, do you keep a list, and do you keep a list in your phone? Do you? Yeah. So something will occur to you, some phrase, Ghost Town, and you might, unless you think you're going to remember it, you might put it in your phone along with some other titles, and then when you're writing, do you like sometimes refer to that list?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have a list of one lines too. My other thing is I think the first line to the song is like the most important line in the song.
Yeah, I agree. It's like an invitation to the song, and if somebody's not working hard enough to invite me in, why would I listen to the rest of the song? Is my general feeling. I mean, there are songs that have shitty first lines, but the songs are great, of course. But yeah, I think the first line is important.
You can have a bad first line and the song can work, but if it has a good one, that's better.
yeah, it's always better. One of the things I like about following you on social media is your your niche interests, which they're niche because
it's 1 o'clock.
Because they're not, where did that come
Sorry,
from?
that's my computer. It's set to every hour it goes. It's
okay. Okay. That's good. Because I thought you were saying that to remind me to speed up the question. Your niche interests in they're niche because they're not shared by a lot of people, but they're enjoyed by a lot of people. Like, I enjoy watching. One of the things is you seem to have turned your backyard into some kind of fairyland with trails and so forth, and you're always building something back there, which I think is fantastic. Like, and you're obsessed with music, but you're not living it 24 hours a day, which I think is very healthy. The other thing is the slot car track. So Danny's gotten into slot cars.
No, I've always been into them. Okay, so what I'll say here is that when you say music, I've always wanted music to be a part of my life, not my life. And music is taking a back seat more and more, which is, I guess I'm lucky at that. But what I learned during the pandemic is not so much about music that I like to play music. I like to be creative. That's what I think. I think I like to make things. If like a day goes by and I haven't like made something, I feel like I've wasted the day. And that could be a song, or that could be like a bench, or a garden. So I love to just like do stuff like that. So working during the pandemic, music stopped, and I started I do have a property in the woods, so it's really nice. I have lots of land, and so I was just became caretaker of I'm doing forest management, and it gives me equal joy as music does. Yeah.
Do you think it feeds into your songwriting?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because it's got your brain going on different wavelengths, different subjects are engaging you, and then that can feed into the creative process for actually writing, maybe.
I mean, I was on tour for the last week out east, or the last 10 days or something, and I just posted a photo of me cutting the lawn. Like all I wanted to do was get home and cut the lawn. And I'm like, oh yes, I'm so happy I'm back. Yeah. I like being at home. I'm a homebody.
Right. That's funny because you've toured a fair bit, and but yeah, and touring is a different animal now, as you've said. So yeah. Mm-hmm. The slot car thing is very interesting to me because you're so meticulous with the details. I mean, you've got it really is sort of a representation of I think an idealized world.
I'm deeper in that than I've ever been in any album or anything. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? That's wonderful, actually.
So for people that don't know what that is, it's like, people are into model trains, the little electric trains, right? When I was a kid, we had they were electric cars. So they zip around. They have actual little working electric engines. So they're not just like toys. They're these very sophisticated, neat little machines. Yeah. And I collected them my whole life, and had them in boxes in the garage because I never knew where you could have to set up a big permanent track, with the little buildings and everything. And during the pandemic, I'm like, this is the time. And I got so into it. Like, I'm in a rabbit hole so deep. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good though. I think it's good to have other interests. I really do. As an artist, I mean, you can focus.
And to me, it's art. So if what I'm making is I'm creating this giant like layout of a track with little houses and models with lights in them, and I paint them all, and it's completely an art project. I was actually surprised that I just wanted to like set up the old track and play with it, but then I never in my life had I like made models or anything before. And it's like now I'm in like arts and crafts, right? So I'm at like Michael's craft store all the time now, and it's like, so it's art to me. It's just art in like a geekier form, and it's very relaxing and very satisfying. Like to sit back and go, wow, look what I made. Look at that. It's incredible. You know, that feels good.
Yeah. I think it's so beautiful, and I think it does relate to music and
making stuff. Make stuff like
yeah.
It's cool.
Thanks for taking a glimpse with us inside the SongStudio workshop from last August. Stay tuned for more.